Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to be talking about, we're going to be using this stamp set, All the Cupcakes by My Favorite Things. We're going to be talking about Stampin' blends, Stampin' Up's alcohol markers. These all come in pairs. There is a brush end and a nib end. I will show you that's the nib. And then the brush end. And I believe they're felt. Some of these, and you'll actually see it a little bit later in this video, the tip is just out a little bit. You just have to push it back in, which is kind of unsettling and a little cheap, but that's okay. So each color has a dark and a light. I'm going to go over a handful of them. I don't go over all the ones I have, and I don't have all of them either. I didn't order every color. I just ordered the ones I thought would be a good addition to my marker collection. Also, this is Marker Monday number 3. Just thought I'd throw that out there, but the thumbnail should have covered that. The pumpkin pie? Is that what it said? I don't remember. I think it's pumpkin pie. I don't really like this combo on paper. I think I saw what could have been mold. I'm not sure. I don't know why mold would be growing on these. I suppose it's possible. So I scraped it off, but it was just a couple dots. Also kind of unsettling. But cheap alcohol markers tend to grow things on them, and it's not always a bad thing. It's just, it doesn't look cute, and you shouldn't have to wipe things off your markers. So obviously buying things like Copics would prevent that. Pumpkin pie. I just don't really like the orange. This is all the colors I have on that chart if you want to pause and take a look at it. It's just kind of like a burnt orange, and I think my marker, I think the markers were making the memento bleed, which is kind of odd. I haven't had that happen with alcohol markers, so I don't know if it was these markers or I just stamped too much ink. Without changing anything, I've had my memento, the same ink, like start to bleed on me when I use alcohol markers, and I haven't changed the paper or the ink pad or the markers I use aside from these. So I'm not sure why that's happening, but that's okay. So this one is the Flirty Flamingo. It's not one of my favorites. It's not a great blend. The light one is just too bright. Not to mention that these are just 2-color combos. Usually in a larger area, like that cupcake top I just colored in, is normally large enough for like a 3-color combo, which you would do with like Copics or the Spectrum Noir Tri-Blends, which are probably a better option. Not probably, I know that they are. The Tri-Blends are a great option because they have the 3-color blend. The 2-color option I only appreciate in some of these. This Riccoco Rose, I don't know how to say it, I'm just going to pronounce it that way, is one of my favorites. It's a very nice like mauve-y pink. And there's Dark Magenta Madness and Light Magenta Madness. The first 2 I purchased were the Magenta Madness and the Just Jade. The Magenta Madness is a fine blend. It's just very bright and magenta-y. It isn't one of my top favorite colors. I will go over my favorites as we cover them. The Cherry Cobbler is one of my favorite blends. It's a very good red blend. And I just kind of did a random assortment of highlights there. I'm getting more into watercoloring. I hope I am not straying too far away from card making, because I really, I enjoy watercoloring a lot, and I'm learning a lot more about it, and I cannot stop buying watercolors. So we'll see what happens. But this is another one of my blends, my favorite blends, I should say, out of the ones that I bought. It's a very nice dark turquoise that blends out pretty nicely, just like the Cherry Cobbler. I also stamped a number of these in the VersaFine Onyx Black on my watercolor paper for me to watercolor later. So I have a bunch of cupcakes to do. Crumb cake is frustrating to me because crumb cake, the paper, and I haven't played with it in a long time. I don't buy Stampin' Up! Cardstock, really, the colored cardstock. To me, crumb cake was always like this craft brown, and this is very gray. It's a very gray brown, if anything. It's not its name for sure. It's not crumb cake. I can't color it on a cupcake, cake and have it look like cake. It's gray, and I was just kind of disappointed with crumb cake. So I like Pretty Peacock, and I like Cherry Cobbler. I do like Highland Heather. It's a pretty good purple blend. As I always talk about, purple blends are very hard to come by. A good purple, in alcohol markers, Copics even for me. Not knowing anything about color or art supplies, really. I mean, not nothing, but I'm not an expert at all. This dark Blackberry Bliss and the light is one of my favorite combos as well. You will see that. Not knowing anything about colors and how they mix and things like that, I have a feeling purple is just one of those things in art life that is hard to achieve. Like it's not just red and blue. Like to get a really good purple apparently takes a lot of work. I'm trying to push this nib in, but it's sticking out farther than the others, and that's just how it's going to be, because it won't go in. So these tips are not very good quality. Anyway, like that's a really good purple, but to me it's not really purple. I mean, it's blackberry, but I don't know, maybe it's the fact that there can be so many different purples. It always seems to be hard to do. Cherry Cobbler, Pretty Peacock, Blackberry Bliss, the Riccoco Rose. I do like Highland Heather, but I do like the Blackberry Bliss as a better dark purple. And then the Bermuda Bay, I do like a lot, is another like dark teal turquoise. I'm showing you the tips because they're like felt. That one I had to push in. I'm just using my alcohol swab packets. The tips that they fray easily, but the tips that are fraying are very hard to get in like the details with. So just keep that in mind. I guess what I'm saying overall is that I don't really recommend these markers as an investment into alcohol markers. With this one here, Purple Posy, it's just that the two are too close together. So what I'm going to do is it looks like one color. So I'm just going to take the nib end and go in with the dark and just make lines and then not blend it out again. And you get like an okay blend. Like that looks better. I just won't blend it out with the light again. But anyway, they're okay, but I kind of just wish I hadn't purchased them. But that's about it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys for Watercolor Wednesday. And yeah, see you then.